The soul of this country is in the private sector. Unfortunately, our regulatory environment, our government thinking, our political leadership is still led by a generation, even now led by a generation which is still not willing to accept this reality. And therefore, there are far too many fetters that are placed on entrepreneurship. So everything that we achieve honestly with almost two hands tied behind our back. Even now, I would go to the extent of saying even now. It's getting much better under the new regime, but frankly, entrepreneurs will never be satisfied. As businesses grow and become older, and therefore its leaders become older, it's not that the principles of business change. The principles of business don't change. You are still required to service the customer with something that the customer wants at a price which is viable. That is the principle of business. That's the principle of business, whether it's digital, non-digital, retail, physical, whichever way you want to call it. Newspaper, handheld device, whichever way you call it. But I think leadership, therefore, needs to stay younger. That is my big lesson.
I think India, when we entered the business and what it is today, it's still, it's probably the most heterogeneous market in the world. That's not changed. We are a nation of 7 major religions, 6,400 caste and subcaste, 29 states, 1.25 billion people. I think 60% of dependents is on agri income for 60% of the population. My personal theory is the way I look at India, the consuming class, the people who consume more than 400 SKUs a year, is still 11 to 12%. And I think people, the serving class, the rest of the population falls under consumption of 300 to 400 less SKUs. I think it might be adding up a little bit of SKUs here and there. Until the large portion of India doesn't consume more. For that, like Raghav said, you need a lot of structural reform. You need a lot of things going for your country for that to happen. And I think we're still not getting there.